2 by 1, take 1. Action.
এটার কি নাম দেওয়া যায় বলতো? সাপকে দেওয়া চলে না।
Cut. Fine. আরেকটা নিয়ে নি ভাই, আরেকটা নিয়ে নি, just one more. এই হাতটা লাস্টে ওঠাটা না, একটু রিল্যাক্স, একটু রিল্যাক্স।
The film industry in Calcutta is modest in comparison to the main centres of Madras and Bombay. Ray is one of the few serious dramatists working here. He has managed to produce films of great technical quality by always working with the same small team, each of whom he has encouraged to perfect their particular craft.
I have a way of working which they get to know in course of time, and which makes it very easy for me because it makes constant instructions unnecessary.
During the 1960s, you made a film a year at least. Was that partly to keep the unit together?
Yes, that was, I would say that was 50% of the reason. The rest, I was getting ideas and chancing upon new material which demanded filming, which I got interested in. And so the average has been more or less one film a year over the years.
Ray was born into a cultured, middle-class Calcutta family, a family of scholars, musicians and writers. The Western influences were strong. They played cricket. They experimented with photography and photo engraving. His Victorian grandfather started a pioneer printing business. Ray's father was a well-known writer of nonsense verses, not unlike the work of Lewis Carroll. He died when Ray was only 2.5, and his widow and her family brought up their only son, Satyajit.
I read the usual subjects. First of all, I read science, physics, chemistry, mathematics and all. And later, for my BA, I went into arts, humanities.
But like other educated Indians, Bengalis particularly, do you feel that you are very much a product of this cultural fusion?
I do, very strongly. Very strongly. I'm absolutely confirmed that I'm myself, I'm what I am because of my being familiar with both cultures.
Do you feel Indian enough as a consequence?
Well, I can be Indian enough if need arises.
Ray studied art at the university set up by Tagore to revive Indian culture. He left after 2 years, convinced that he didn't have the talent to become a great painter, and he started to look for a job in wartime Calcutta. The best prospects for a young artist were in advertising, and he found a post in one of the British agencies, D.J. Keemer. He worked there for 13 years.
I joined as a visualizer, junior visualizer, and learnt advertising, learnt layout, learnt lettering, learnt illustration more or less while I was working.
What sort of campaigns were you working on?
Well, tea, biscuits, motorcar tires, and gramophone, and cigarettes, and that sort of thing. And it was quite exciting work in the beginning. But having to contend with the clients, it was very unpleasant, actually. There were some very foolish people involved there, which is one of the reasons why I eventually lost interest in advertising. That is such an important thing a character whom you know suddenly dying is so crucial to a film that one has to use one's imagination to do it in a special sort of way.
In the second film, the death of the father, you treat in a
Death of the father
symbolic
is
way.
Yes, well, there I had the pigeons established right in the beginning of the film, and I observed this phenomenon of these pigeons sort of gathering on these platforms, and then suddenly taking off, and and then circling in the sky. It was a very interesting visual experience, and I decided to use that for Harihar, the father's death.
Где ховаешься? Ховаєш ти?
In Oparajito, I was very close to Oppu because I lost my father too at a very early age. I was only 2.5 when he died. The relationship between a son and a widowed mother is something which I have felt myself very strongly in my own childhood. And therefore, I think I understood Oppu's situation very well in Oparajito, and also the mother's reactions and mother's attitude to the son, who's growing up and away from her, becoming conscious of a bigger world outside his own little small village.
After the death of his father, Oppu and his widowed mother return to the village, but they too are separated when Oppu sets off to study in Calcutta. The mother resigns herself to a life of loneliness without her son, and one day, Oppu returns to find that she has died. Oppu arrives in the city by train, a favourite motif which Ray uses to link the three stories in the trilogy.
The first sight of the train, that sequence is in the book. The first time they see the train, the two children. But in Oparajito, I decided that I would bring the train closer. The mother can see the train coming from where she sits outside the house, and that becomes a symbol of Oppu returning from the city. At that time, I had no idea to make a third film. That came much later. But when I decided to make The World of Oppu, I wanted the house to be right on the railway tracks. So the train is no longer a lyrical element, it's a rather harsh element in the story.